Where's he at? He's over here. He's over here trying to get a revive. He just looks you. He's up there. Everybody's home.
Digimon World. Next order.
Above your head, bro. Above your head.
Well, I finished the chat and the conversation between the people. Amazing.
There's no one up here. Over here. Yeah, see him at all night. Pull back. Y'all fine. Pull back. I see y'all. You're good. You're fine. You need to heal up. Bro. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Right here. Drop in your car, though. Whatever you need, bro. Behind you, bro.
Alright, there's a reason we didn't start this the way we normally do on a Tuesday yesterday. I do apologize for that. But we'll get it started the right way this week, or today, since I don't have to worry about that right now. So, weekly PSA. Things folks need to know, and the political slant that I normally try to avoid on my streams, but needs to get fucking said. So, long and short of things here, and we'll get to it here in a minute. Alright, now that's not going to be echoing in my fucking ear while I do this. So, in America, as I've said many, many times, we are brainwashed into believing a variety of things on a political level that just simply are not true. For example, we are brainwashed into believing that we have no political power and that our votes do not matter. Truth is, that's just not true. without us, politicians can't get into office, at least not through current legal measures. So realistically, not only do our votes absolutely matter, but we are the ultimate final political power in the United States. So don't let them bully you and bullshit you into believing anything less. We're raised to believe that we cannot, or rather, any method that we use, whether it's legal or otherwise, to protest things that our politicians do, simply won't make a difference about nothing. And that doing so is un-American, unconstitutional, etc., 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 etc. You know, all the bullshit. Again, not true. There have been plenty of examples where, you know, things like peaceful protests or phone campaigns or grassroots campaigns, things of that nature, have actually gotten the fucking job done. Perfect example is, what was it, like Arizona or some shit a couple months back during an election cycle, had a ballot on or a measure on the ballot to basically permaban abortions, permanently removing a woman's right to choose what to do with her own body. And I don't remember exactly what state it was that this happened in. I know it was a deep red state. And folks were predicting that this shit was going to go through, that there wasn't going to be a problem. And what ends up happening? Well, I mean, let's get realistic about this. Whether it was Arizona or some other state, the bottom line is that measure that got put on the ballot got soundly beaten. I mean, I've seen some major ass whoopings over my 44 years. But that will go down in the history of my life as one of the biggest whoopings of ass that I have ever had the honor and the pleasure of seeing. Like, that measure got just stomped at the ballot box. The people of the state, Arizona or whatever the fuck it was, resoundingly came out and said, fuck you. This ain't happening. So, you know, and I use that as just an example of how the common American can work with other Americans to stop politicians' bullshit on a pretty regular basis. It really doesn't take that much effort. Well, I mean, in some cases it does, some it doesn't. But the point is, get out there and make your voices heard. If you don't like what your politicians are doing, you have a variety of ways of stopping them. Or at least forcing them to listen to you. Peaceful protests. One example. And before anybody says anything, first off, peaceful protests are not only perfectly legal, but perfectly viable, and they work because they scare politicians. They show a politician that Americans are coming together over one or more issues, and that their stance on that issue or issues is not the will of the American people. And that's a good thing. And they are perfectly legal as long as you maintain a calm protest where, you know, you reject the very concept of allowing violence on your side of things, you're perfectly fucking fine. You're not breaking any laws. You could use social media. Social media is an incredibly powerful tool. Hey, Ship! Welcome in. Just finishing my start a stream process and the weekly PSA I meant to do yesterday that I normally do at the start of my weeks on Tuesdays every week. But, well, shit happened yesterday. I didn't get to it. But as I was saying, social media is an incredibly powerful tool. This is the age of technology. This is the age of the internet. Why not use the tools that are given to us to use to let politicians know that at best we are less than pleased with what they're doing and their performances? There's no sense in not using the tool if it's there. Think about it. You'd be a fucking idiot to not use the available tools. You really would. You'd be a fucking moron. So use social media. Use Twitter, X, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves these days. Use Instagram. Use Facebook. Hell, if you still got it, and your account's still up and active, use fucking MySpace for Christ's sake. Use TikTok. Make your voices heard. You can flood the politicians' offices with emails, snail mails, and phone calls, letting them know that you're less than happy with what they're doing. You know, there is a lot that you could do. There are a lot of ways to make your voices heard. And you can't ever let the politicians make you think that those ways don't exist, or if they do exist, that they won't ever fucking work. Because the politicians are so full of shit, it's not funny. They are so full of shit, it ain't funny. So you make sure you let your voice be heard. There's the petition method, which has worked on multiple occasions throughout the course of history when it comes to politics. You get enough people to fucking sign a goddamn petition, and you send that sumbitch into the politicians, they kind of have to fucking listen to you. At least take what's being said under consideration. They can't hide it behind, you know, private meetings and you know, their meeting halls or whatnot in order to get what they want done without the public being able to have their input. We have to start holding our politicians accountable. We have to. Because if we don't, nobody will. That is the long and short of that. That's the simple truth. If we, the common Americans, do not hold our politicians accountable and take them to task when they pull bullshit, ain't nobody else gonna do it for us. Holding them accountable when they fuck up, or when they look like they're gonna fuck up, or when they're gonna try to do something or do something that goes against the will of the people, is one of the rights, responsibilities, and privileges of being a fucking American. And you need to exercise that. Another thing that we've been brainwashed into, we've been told for decades now, literally decades. I mean, for 2 centuries, we've been told that one of the major parties is the party of superheroes and one's the party of supervillains, and it tends to change at least every so often which party is portrayed as heroes and which is portrayed as villains. Now, at one point in American history, that was absolutely true. At one point in history, that was absolutely the truth. There was a point in history in America where the Democrat Party was absolutely villains, and the Republicans were the heroes that were trying to stop the bullshit. But that basically 1% of wealth in America, the ultra wealthy, basically took over politics and started buying and selling politicians. Those politicians, usually white, and usually male, who have been in American politics now for 40, 50, 60 years of their life. Seems like they've been there forever, like they were born into politics and got in as a baby and just never left. These are what basically the establishment politicians are. They're bought and sold by the top 1% bracket of wealth, and they do what the top 1% tells them to, no matter who else in America it fucks over, and 99% of the time, it fucks over everybody but the top 1%. Simple truism. So don't let them fool you. You know, don't buy into their load of bullshit that there's a party of heroes and a party of villains up there. They're all villains. Or at least almost all of them. Like 98-99% of the politicians on Capitol Hill right now are villains. They may not be villains for the same reasons in the same ways, but they're all villains. When one party goes to do something that they know damn good and well the majority of Americans don't want done, for example, go back to the abortion issue. Most Americans don't want abortion to be illegal. They don't want abortion bans. Most Americans understand that not only is it a human right to have the right to decide what to do with your body, when and where, at least within reason, but no government should ever have the ability to control decisions you make regarding your own body. Most Americans know this. Republican Party is pushing to basically initiate abortion bans nationwide on a federal level. And they're doing this very publicly. It's a smoke screen. Don't mistake me. Don't get me wrong on this. It's a bullshit smoke screen to hide our getting past. But it's still a serious issue that the American public faces that we have to deal with. And the Democrat Party could pretty easily stop this nonsense and reverse a lot of it, if not all of it. There's enough Democrats in the House and enough Democrats in the Senate, plus a Democrat in the goddamn Oval Office. We could stop the bullshit as Democrats if we wanted. But because the vast majority of Democrats are bought and sold by the ultra wealthy in America, the top 1% bracket of wealth, same as Republicans, they don't take the steps that they could and should take to stop the bullshit coming out of the Republican Party. But yet they want you to believe that they are the party of superheroes right now in America. They talk a great talk. They run their mouths fine. Oh, the things that the Republicans are doing are just evil and bad and need to be stopped and blah, 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 blah. But that's all it is. It's talk. This is why I say the concept that they want us to believe that there is a party of superheroes and a party of supervillains on Capitol Hill and in American politics right now is complete bullshit. Because the so-called party of heroes, in this case right now, the Democrats, could do a lot to stop the bullshit that the party of supervillains, aka the party of Republicans, are pulling in politics, and they just don't do shit. They sit back on their fat, lazy political asses, don't do a damn thing to try to stop it. They go on TV and on all these shows on the radio and whatnot, and on all social media, and sure, they give great sound bites, great quotes. What the fuck are they doing to actually do the job? They talk about stopping all the removal of what should be basic human rights by Republicans in America right now, but the Democrats aren't fucking doing anything to actually stop it. And they could. There's so much they could do. And they're not. They're not fucking superheroes. They're just as bought and sold as the fucking Republicans are. So don't buy into the bullshit. Don't let them con you into thinking that either major political party in this country is heroes or villains. They're pretty much all villains. There's only a few in Capitol Hill and in politics right now that are actually even halfway decent folk. AOC, Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, a few of them. Not many more than that. Here's the other thing. I talk about all of this every week. I really do. And I shouldn't have to, because Americans are smart enough. They should be smart enough to realize all this. But y'all blind yourselves. You do. Whether you want to admit to it or not, whether you like it or not, you blind yourselves. So let's get a little bit realistic about the issue. There are ways for the common American to make sure that the changes that are needed to happen in this country end up actually happening. There are ways to get it done. Ways to break the brainwashing. Like another brainwashing issue is we are brainwashed into believing that the Constitution and our laws and all that only allow two major political parties. And they even, at least at times, go further and say only allow two political parties, period, in the country. It's not true. Matter of fact, it's been proven through our in place is to allow multiple major political parties and minor political parties in order to encourage competition on a political level. That way, they feel, and I agree with them, that we could, on average, get the best possible politicians in office to make the decisions for this country that need to be made to move this country forward. But for the better part of 200 years, Republicans and Democrats have done everything in their power to prevent that part of our political system from occurring. They have done everything that they can. And I mean everything to choke our political system to such a degree that the only parties that get anything at all in any way, shape, or form on any level are Democrats and Republicans. You can hate. I don't. It makes me very close to being physically ill to have to make that admission.
What settings are we going? I can hook you up with a screenshot of mental settings.
Give me a minute. I seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties.